information. Because this motherfucker is British intelligence. Just like your boy Colin Powell got his bones for helping in the assassination of Lumumba. That's how Colin Powell got his job.
Check.
Look at this face and don't forget it, because his father was intelligence and so is he. Worked for British intelligence in Africa, in Kenya. And I'm going to get more of the information for you.
Bill Riley said last week on TV that Bill Clinton was the first black president we ever had.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, you know what? That's because a minister said that shit. Some dumb nigga, a minister. I just choke up every time I think about it. Bill Clinton is going to be slated, or he is slated to be the next president of the United Nations.
Yes. Yes.
Big time Rockefeller. And Rockefeller's son. Exactly. So you check Barack Obama, watch him, he's a mole. And finally, I'm closing this out because I'm going to read part 2, and then we can deal with whatever questions you want. Y'all all right?
All right. Phil, you don't want to save the questions for part 2?
No, we're not doing questions. I'm going to have to finish this off. There's something I have to do that leads us into it. Alright, now what we need to do is to show one sure proof of what it is that really brought down and destroyed us. Let me just get this correct for you. Alright, foundational overview of just how frighteningly awesome and terrifying the reptilian bastards of the New World Order are going to try to take our lives over the next 5 years with the calculated exhibition and demonstration of scalar superweapons and its effects on space-time continuum, as well as the evolutionary potential of human consciousness. Again, the hurricane itself, that is the wind, did inflict enormous damage in the outlying areas like Mississippi, demolishing houses and infrastructures. It is hard to tell how many may have passed as a result of the winds and the rains. But the superweapon HARP and its sister, HIPAA, in and of themselves, in this instance, were used as a cover to set up mass murder by drowning. The power of this technology is unprecedented in this time frame of present Earth, but comes ever closer to the power that our ancient Kemetic, Sumerian, Olmec, Mayan ancestors previously possessed and unlocked. A power which, in the wrong hands, led to our ancestors' ultimate destruction. And make no mistake about the people who will take over and rule this country and this earth for a while. They are cold, ruthless, and virtually inhuman in their perceptions of you as a living spiritual being. And our actions and reactions must be as clear, calculated, and emotionless as we ready ourselves to do battle with those who once again wish to enslave us. Do I sound dramatic? You goddamn right. These are dramatic times, and we will do wise to be prepared, each in our own small way, very quickly. As we unlock the intricate secrets of the new weaponry and the method of psionic warfare now and into part 2, we will also be telling you of how to prepare and what to have ready at a moment's notice. We will show you how to protect yourself against psionic and electronic attack, as well as how to stop and reverse the effects of scalar weaponry attack. Part of the solution lies in our over and understanding the technologies of Nikola Tesla, the revolutionary writings of Dr. Gabriel Oyibo, and the ancient sciences of our Kemetic masters, as are practiced in the religious rituals of our indigenous people. For now, we'll give you an overview of the forensics, which show that the government of the United States, as well as France, Israel, Russia, China, and Japan, all have access as well as the willingness to use such weaponries since the 1970s.
That's right.
In fact, one short proof that a weather weapon was used, and that such a weapon truly exists, because it is uncanny how the majority of people still cannot fix their minds, their thought patterns, to conceive of the fact that we have the power to manipulate the weather, especially Christians. And that is, its use was monitored by the aforementioned countries. And check this out, it is a fact that soon after Katrina hit the Gulf Coast, China, Russia, and France immediately logged an angry formal protest and complaint through the United Nations, condemning the U.S. for using weather modification weapons in violation of their treaty. That's right, I said their treaty. This protest was so embarrassing and potentially dangerous to the peace talks now secretly going on between China, U.S., Russia, North Korea, Iran, and Israel, that Bill Clinton himself had to step up in a privately held press meeting to reassure the international community that it wasn't an act of provocation or even a demonstration to influence the talks. Even Bush had to quickly address the General Assembly to reassure them. You see, beloved brothers and sisters, there is a 1977 Joint Task Force. Sorry, I thought I broke it. I broke the treaty, but I forgot it. I'm sorry. It's the treaty. There is a 1977 UN joint resolution signed by all member nations and upgraded through the Weather Modification Research and Technology Act of 2005, which states that all participating nations agree not to use weather modification and manipulation technologies against the other member nations. Of course, lawyer Bill Clinton, who by the way is tagged to be the next president, assured the nations that technically they did not use such a weapon against another nation, because there are no provisions in the agreement against using the weapon on your own people. Right. And again, such technology has been around since our ancestors, as we will see next week. Yes, we too modified the weather, and now the Caucasoid has caught up. Brothers and sisters, very good.
Right from there, brother. Just go up the file and start the process again.
Go up to the file?
File.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
And just start the process.
Shortcut it. File open?
Yeah.
And open it again? Oh, thank you for shutting that down. All right, very good. Thank you. Somebody knows what they're doing. I like that. All right, now. All right. This is a map of Alaska, and that is where Hart is. Where you see the dot, that's Hart. But Hart cannot work without HIPAS and the other one, HMS, Fort Greely, Clear Air Force Station. All these are very strategic buildings.
Can you break down the acronyms?
Okay, I will. Now, Bush tipped his hand about the truth of Katrina when he said at a press meeting, and I think you remember, quote, "It's worse than imaginable. I'm not looking forward to this trip. It's as if the entire Gulf Coast were obliterated by the worst kind of weapon you can imagine."
Yes.
You remember those were his words? He's right. He's right. And this weapon is followed up by lethal words, cold and reptilian in the way they describe the situation about we, the common people. Barbara Bush saying that the black victims were underprivileged anyway, and then chuckled and said we were better off. Laura Bush calling the hurricane Katrina. Tom DeLay saying that being rounded up and forced into detention camps was, hey, kind of fun, huh? Glenn Beck, talk show host, calling black people as looters, scumbags, and stating he hated 9/11 families who wanted to reopen the hearings. Michael Chertoff, calling Louisiana a city. Dick Cheney, stating at a press conference that in essence the hurricane victims were very grateful for the treatment by the federal government. The Army Times magazine reported that hurricane survivors who didn't want to leave New Orleans would be treated as insurgents like the people of Iraq, and get this, combat missions were in progress to weed them out. FEMA rounded up the evacuees and treated them as detainees, registering them and giving them ID cards and preventing them from leaving the camps. On every house, now listen carefully, this is the point. On every house in the 9th Ward, you see spray painted numbers and letters. Listen carefully. You see a large X. Now the large X is painted on the sides of the houses. Each quadrant of the X has letters and numbers. At the top of the quadrant, you have a pen. Somebody quickly, thank you. You got a marker? All right, I'm going to do this with a marker so we can see what this is about.
You want to use the blackboard over there, or?
Well, that's going to be a little too much time.
Oh, okay.
Get a big marker. I can hold it up for the brother and you can see it. Go ahead. On the sides of each of the buildings, that's what it looks like spray painted on the side of the buildings. These are the code words. Now, in each quadrant of the X were letters and numbers, as you see here. At the top, it was 9 to 6 or 9 to 7. To the left, it's TX1. To the right, it was NE, and at the bottom, numbers 1, 2, 3, 7, 5, 11, whatever. The top represented the day of the search. The left represented the military unit that conducted the search. The right represented the code for the type of contamination that was found in the house. And the bottom represented how many bodies were found. It's my son. Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, well, you know, I'm sitting in front of about 60 or 70 people, and they're listening to your call. Oh. Yeah, you got it for work. I'll be almost finished. I can't believe I'm putting this on. It's my son, y'all. I can't believe I didn't put it on vibrate. All right, gotta go. I'll rehearse it go. Tiring. I love you too. Peace. Peace. You got a gig with Genuine. Just for the monies. Just for the cash, you gonna dance. Show them how to dance. So this is what you're looking at.
Did you say what the TX1 stands for?
TX1 stands for the military unit that conducts it. Okay, and that's what the sides of all of the houses. Now check this out. This is written by a man who was from somewhere upstate, I believe. What's the Rhode Island or somewhere up there? But he said the markings. He said that he found these markings at the top on every house.